Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, so we've gone through every Power 5 conference and ranked the quarterbacks. Now we're looking at every quarterback in the country is being put in a pool, and we're going to rank the top 15. So, Trey, why don't you start us out with number 15?
Yeah, we actually had a tie for 15th here.
That's right.
Kyle McCord of Ohio State. And, it's tough to rank a guy like McCord because, he's barely played, but he has a lot of talent, being highly recruited, going to Ohio State. He's only played sparingly behind CJ Stroud, but any Ryan Day quarterback, is almost guaranteed to put up, massive numbers, almost all-American numbers, being the Heisman consideration. Not to mention when you've got a stacked wide receiver room like Ohio State does with Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, other guys like Julian Fleming. Like, you got great running backs to help you, Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams. It's just, among others. So the pressure is not going to be entirely on McCord's shoulders. You just think McCord would put up massive numbers, but it's hard to put him any higher, I guess, until we actually see it.
I disagree on the not put him any higher. I put him top 10 just because, like you said, Ohio State quarterback. Why not?
True. Fair.
Sorry to the YouTube viewers who aren't able to see my beautiful face right now, but, camera went down. Okay, number 15, tied for 15, is Michael Pratt of Tulane. And his first couple years there, he was fine, but certainly wouldn't have sniffed this list. But then last year took a huge jump, 37 total touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, 8.9 yards per pass attempt. And this past offseason, he could have had a ton of interest from Power 5 schools. Obviously could have transferred up if he wanted to, but elected to stay at Tulane. So that was big for them.
Yeah, respect. We like the Green Wave, so
yeah,
it's good. All right, let's move on here. We're going on to number 14. We're taking a little bit of a flyer. Quinn Ewers from Texas. Considering his numbers weren't all that great last year, 15 touchdowns, 6 picks, and under 60% completion percentage isn't that great. But, it was his first year playing, first year as the Michael's back.
I'm back.
He threw me off. No. First year as the guy, being the main person. And I just think that this year, second year in the system, everything seems to be kind of just tailor-made to have a great statistical year from the QB position for Texas. Sark feels confident. They have a ton of weapons on the outside. Offensive line is looking strong. So it just would be surprising if he didn't put up good numbers and play well.
Indeed. No excuses for him there. Number 13, a former Texas quarterback, Cam Rising. We might have put Rising a notch higher, but we're kind of staying a little cautious. He's coming off the torn ACL in the Rose Bowl, and we don't exactly know when he'll be 100%. He's not flashy, not going to put up these insane numbers, but Rising is just a dude. Like, he plays tough, hard to bring down when he runs. He's led the Utes to back-to-back Pac-12 titles. I mentioned he doesn't put up huge numbers, still puts up good numbers. Like last year, put up over 3,000 yards, completed 2/3 of his passes, 32 total touchdowns, 6 yards per carry. Like, you go on and on. The offensive line looks like a strength for him, so I'm not too concerned there. I like the backs that they have, Jackson and Bernard, to help him out. He's got key targets back. Really just the biggest key for him is getting back to full strength of health, and we're going to see it kind of early on. They have a tough couple first games, so hopefully he's roaring to go right out of the gate.
Yeah, Florida and at Baylor, I think.
Baylor, it's a tough start.
Losable if he's not, even if he is fully healthy. Okay, number 12, tough guy to rank, but Jayden Daniels at Kansas didn't quite play a full season last year because of injury, but he was number 1 in the nation in QBR. That's just incredible. Like, he put efficient through the air, great runner, and the offense around him is, almost fully intact from last season. So you'd think he'd just put up monster numbers again.
Would be surprised if he didn't. All right, moving on to number 11, fellow Big 12 quarterback. We got Dylan Gabriel for Oklahoma. Put up some good numbers last year, over 3,000 yard passing on 8.6 yards per attempt. He had 25 touchdowns, just 6 picks. Also did a decent job on the ground, added 6 more scores there. So, good numbers. And I guess I'm kind of expecting even better numbers this year. I mean, I think the team will be better. But then year 2 in Jeff Levy's system, I think he's got some good pieces around him. So Gabriel should finish out his career. Probably, right? Is he a true senior? I don't know. It's too hard to know.
Who knows?
But,
Yeah, exactly. I stopped keeping track.
It might
of that
not.
Seems
be,
like
though.
it seems like everyone's got one more year than you think.
Yeah, because he's played 3 years, right? He's had 2 years at UCF and then 1 year at OU. So maybe he's got another year. But anyways, he's gonna have a good 4th year, I think, if that's what it is. So
it's all right. That's all we're focused on, anyways, right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Number 10. Sam Hartman of Notre Dame. He was the prize transfer this year. We know he put up video game numbers while he was at Wake Forest, set the ACC record with 110 career touchdowns. He's no doubt going to open up the playbook for the Irish and stretch the field more than they've had in recent years, as the last few quarterbacks didn't have the production of Hartman or really the threat of that aspect of opening it up. I guess my only hesitation, and maybe this is just me, but I'm cautious as he's going to a totally different system than what he's familiar with. More under center, got to read the defenses more, no more of that kind of mesh read option that he had, and just constant passing. And the Notre Dame offensive coordinator, we don't know a lot about that offense, but that being said, he's obviously talented enough to overcome all that and be more productive than the Notre Dame quarterbacks we've seen of recent.
Yep. Okay, number 9 is Jayden Daniels of LSU. And so as a passer, he's been solid. I mean, that's the part of his game, though. There is room for improvement. Like if he does become a top 5 quarterback in the country or a Heisman candidate, it will because he's a bit more efficient through the air. But on the ground is where he really thrives. Let's see. Last year he had, what was it? I thought
almost 900 yards, right?
Yeah, was it? Okay, yeah. I know
he led LSU in rushing. He was
and like 11 touchdowns or something. He was killing it. Yeah.
Good thing Ryan memorized those numbers because I thought I wrote them down. But yeah, he was just unbelievable on the ground, and especially early in the season, felt like he was helping to carry that offense. They had some youth on the O-line, and his legs kind of helped mask.
Yeah, he definitely carried them early. I know it's like statistically and efficiency wise, he may not be a top 5 quarterback, but he's really close just because of how much I think he carried him. But
yeah, I was a little lower on Daniels, but I can see why you'd have him up here.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see why, but all right. Moving on. Number 8, guy I was high on, KJ Jefferson from Arkansas. Man, he's good, dude. 45 touchdowns, just 9 picks the last couple years. Approaching 3,000 passing yards in both of those seasons, and right around 68% completion percentage, but he passes for 9 yards per attempt. So his numbers through the air are very, very efficient. And of course, we know that's not all he does. He's obviously extremely good on the ground. He's run for about 1,300 yards the last 2 seasons combined. So, I mean, he does it all. And he talk about carrying an offense. He does a great job of that. And no matter who his receivers are, he lost a great one and still put up good numbers the following year. So, I don't know. I think he deserves more respect probably nationally than he gets.
All right. Number 7 is JJ McCarthy. You could argue it's kind of a down year for Big Ten quarterbacks when looking at it, just as McCarthy is our highest rated. We have sitting at 7, but so far he's a winner. 12-1 as a starter, led them to their first victory at Ohio State since 2000. Last 3 games, he really picked it up too, which is why I'm kind of bullish heading into 2023. 10 touchdowns in those 3 games. He's obviously a big threat with his legs.
Picks in the playoff game, but
he had some good moments too there, though.
Yeah, I know.
And they didn't give him that touchdown pass when they ended up fumbling the next play, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's neither here nor there. But but in that TCU game, he had a career high 343 yards passing, added 52 on the ground. So he was like the reason that Michigan was in that game. Completed 2/3 of his passes in his first year as a starter. And he also what I like, again, is he has the help of a great ground game, Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, so that it doesn't all rely on his shoulders.
Yeah, and you would hope that he takes another step forward this year.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jordan Travis of Florida State. And he just keeps getting better and better every single year under Mike Norvell. And he's always been a great runner, so he's always had that aspect of his game. But it's been the passing that keeps taking steps forward, especially last year. He had 9.1 yards per pass attempt. So now with another year in the system, it seems like, I mean, the talent around him is just getting better and better as well. So it's going to help make him look better. But it makes sense that he's kind of, I wouldn't even say a dark horse Heisman candidate. He's kind of just a second level Heisman candidate.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he's been around a while, but like you said, he does keep getting better. All right, moving on to our top 5. We're going off the radar, G5. We're going Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. I kind of know a lot of people don't like it when kids transfer, especially from the small schools, and kind of to bump up to a upper level school. A lot of them want to stay there, and they feel like it's better for college football. But in this instance, I actually wish Grayson McCall would have transferred to a Power 5 school or whatever. Like, I want to see what he would do at one of those schools, whether it's Notre Dame, who cares? But just another Power 5 conference, because I think he's been absolutely incredible, and he is a top 5 quarterback for sure. I had him 3rd. I think he's right there. I mean, statistically, he's been amazing. 78 touchdowns in his career to 8 picks, over 10 yards per attempt in his career. Like, not just a season, but his whole career. 70% completion percentage he's over his career. Run for over 1,000 yards in his career. Like, I don't know what else he could do statistically to be a top 5 quarterback in other people's eyes nationally at Coastal. Like, what else could he have done?
Yeah,
I don't know how many people could do what he's doing.
He's done as well as you can possibly do, it seems like. And going into last year was, I think last year he really proved how good he was, because I think it was last year they lost everyone around him on offense. And so you thought, like, okay, here's where he kind of comes back to earth a little bit. And, like, not really. Like, he was still really, really good. So you're right. Like, he's done all he could there. I would like to see him, like, Auburn, of course. I think he visited there, and that was a possibility. I would have liked to have seen that.
Yep.
But sorry, Coastal. We love Coastal. But
I mean,
they're breaking in a new coach too, so he can really prove
we'll take it
again.
But just for Grayson's sake, we wanted to see it.
Yeah. All right, number 4, another old transfer, Bo Nix of Oregon. Man, he dramatically changed the narrative on himself with his play last year. Like, much of the year he was in the Heisman discussion, did it through the air and the ground, over 4,000 all-purpose yards, 43 total touchdowns, over 70% completions. Like, I guess the big thing for him is it'll be interesting to see, how much his production might change with the loss of his offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, going to Arizona State to take the head job. But I personally don't think he's going to all of a sudden just be a bum, because he has 4 years of, full 4 years of playing experience. And now he's in year 2 of his situation at Oregon, where he's got some good pieces around him. So that's something to watch. But Bo Nix is proven last year to be a top 5 QB.
Yeah, last year was too good to ignore. And same goes for number 3, Michael Penix Jr. of Washington. So it's our second Pac-12 quarterback here in the top 4. I got a feeling there might be another one. Yeah. But, I mean, Penix, like, he was second in the nation in passing yards last year, just helped completely turn around that Washington offense, along with his head coach and
Kalen
offensive
DeBoer
guru,
helped.
Kalen DeBoer, yeah. And even, it's not just last year. Like, you look at Penix's career stats at Indiana, when you take into account the talent and the defenses they're going up against, like, he was pretty good there too. So especially when he had Kalen DeBoer, but he's got to be. I feel like he's got to be in everyone's top 5.
Oh yeah, top 5 for sure. I'm with you on that. But moving on to which I think everybody mostly nationally considers as a clear 1-2 here. Number 2, we got Drake May from North Carolina. He threw for over 4,000 yards last year, 38 touchdowns, just 7 picks. He ran for another 700. There's really not a whole lot you really need to say about Drake May. He's a clear number 2, I think, in this spot, and just erased whatever concerns North Carolina had at the QB position, losing Sam Howell, and just did even better than Howell. He was incredible.
That he was new offensive coordinator though. We'll see,
True.
but he can overcome that. Easy number one though. Caleb Williams, USC, reigning Heisman winner, probably the number one pick next year, and his numbers were just ridiculous. And he had such great command of Lincoln Riley's offense. He can run. He obviously can throw. He only had 5 picks against 52 total touchdowns. If you watch our Pac-12 preview, I kind of mentioned our Pac-12 quarterback ranking episode. I kind of mentioned that how he just kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes out there. Like, you don't have to be, a serious college football fan to understand how good he is when watching him. You can just kind of see it. He has that it factor. It's pretty impressive.
Yep, easy number one there. Okay, so let's show the YouTube viewers our overall list here. And Ryan, who's the biggest snub that was on your list?
For me, it was Will Rogers from Mississippi State. I had him at 9, and so I'm surprised he didn't make the list. You guys must have been real low on him, but well, I mean, I know he was in a pass-happy system, but he was still very, very good. And this is SEC defense he's going up against. So I don't know, 71 touchdowns the last couple of years, really helped carry that offense. And Mississippi State's had some pretty good teams, so I think he's deserves maybe more credit.
Okay, top guy that was left out for me was at 12. I had Frank Harris from
that was
UTSA.
mine.
70% completions, 4,000 passing yards, 500 rushing yards last year. And he's just the last couple of years, he's just been unbelievable. So
yeah,
I know it's at much lower level than Power 5, but the numbers are too good. Kind of like Grayson McCall. It's just like they're too good of numbers for me to ignore.
Yeah, Harris was mine. The next one I guess I would have then would be Joe Milton. I didn't have him in my top 10 or anything, but at Tennessee, he had that incredible Orange Bowl. We know he's got the talent. We'll just see if he can put it all together, be more consistent, and be efficient. It's hard to follow Hendon Hooker, but when you've got Josh Heupel leading the charge, you're probably going to get a productive quarterback.
Mm-hmm. One guy that wasn't terribly close to my top 15, but should probably bring up is just Cade Klubnik at Clemson, because I feel like of the guys not on our list, he has the highest ceiling just with his 5-star talent and bringing in Garrett Riley as offensive coordinator. So, but also Tanner Mordecai, I had 16th at Wisconsin with, he put up pretty good numbers at SMU and now going to play for another great offensive coordinator, Phil Longo at Wisconsin. I could see him having a big year.
Well, we also don't have a Georgia or Alabama quarterback on our list, so
first time in quite a few years.
Maybe we'll miss the boat on Carson Beck, or I don't know who Alabama's. I'm not going to try to guess at this point. But, it's interesting at least.
For sure. Okay. Well, that'll do it for our quarterback ranking series. Thank you so much for checking them out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros, and we will see you next time.